Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to present you the fifth episode of the Mobile Legends adventure story. We'll go for the Dark Heroes faction. First on the list is Aldous, the contractor. Legends from the Land of Dawn say that the Western Desert's Minoan kingdom possess a mysterious labyrinth. In the maze is a statue of a giant minotaur which the people consider to be the Mecca of the Minoan kingdom. Some say that there is a group of contractors who guard the entire maze. The kingdom produced a lot of precious jade which brought the Minoan people great wealth. Very quickly, the entire kingdom was lost in the intoxicating allure of golden riches. Even many contractors tasked with guarding the sacred maze become corrupted, abandoning their duty. Only one stayed, Aldous, who never forgotten his duty, continued to the Minoan labyrinth. Until one day, a god came from the heavens to punish the lands. The powers of light and dark decimated the entire Minoan kingdom, which even Aldous could not escape. When two streams of energy surged into his body, Aldous, though he was about to die, however, the two streams of energy collided, causing a great change in his body. His skin grew long black scales that could resist most attacks and also monstrously large arms that could easily strike fear into people's hearts. When Aldous awoke from his daze, he found his people's kingdom gone, but the mysterious maze was now sealed by some unknown force. He and the remaining Minotaurs decided that Aldous would stay to defend the maze, while the others traveled towards the Land of Dawn to find answers. News of a mysterious force sealing the Minoan maze spread quickly to the Abyssal Kingdom. To gather this strange energy, Selina brought her abyssal demons with her to the entrance of the Minoan maze. A huge battle was about to begin. Next we have Alice, Queen of the Apocalypse. Thousands of years ago, the enchanted forest in the Land of Dawn was inhabited by the Moon Elves. Underneath a surface of beauty and magic, great danger lays hidden. Strange black shadows appear near the forest that the Moon Elves called home, and with their hunting presence, the Moon Elves' numbers began to shrink. The blood demons are raised that drain the life force of others in order to maintain their own bodies, and the peace-loving Moon Elves had become their favorite prey. Estes, the Moon Elf King, battled against the blood demons in order to protect his people. But after Alice, the Blood Demon Queen, conquered the orcs, her demon reach extended even further in the enchanted forest. She hoped to acquire the power of the Moon Elves and Estes for herself, just as she did with the orcs. Her strong ambition led her to repeatedly invade the Lake of the Moon God. Every time she was beaten back by the formidable will of King Estes. Not willing to resign to defeat, Alice decided to lead her mutant orcs in another attack against the Moon Elves. Near the end of the battle, King Estes gathered his full might and led in a heavy blow against Alice, greatly wounding the Blood Demon Queen. Though the battle had ended, the heavily injured Moon Elf King entered into a great sleep in the deep of the enchanted forest. Today, the Prince of the Twilight Orb has plunged the Land of Dawn into chaos once more. In the cracks of the abyss deep within the earth, the abyssal ruler forced for more followers to believe in him. His dark shadow has silently spread over the mountains of the south, and Alice has found strength in pledging herself to this power. Though she has not fully recovered her former strength, Gaining the trust of the abyssal ruler had caused her former ambitions to rekindle. In order to more quickly become whole again, she continues to drain the life force of all beings she meets. And naive newborn moon elves are still her favorite food. After achieving this temporary satisfaction, Alice has turned her eye towards a larger prey. The heroes from Outward. Watch your back! Argus, the Night Stalker. The Monian Empire of the Land of Dawn once enjoyed the blessing of angels. The angel of light, Raphaela, shone down on the people and healed all of their illnesses. The angel of dark, Argus, became the punisher of crime. Together they maintained peace and balance throughout the land. Raphaela and Argus were originally angelic partners who operated with a tacit understanding. Though Argus was in charge of punishment and possessed an extreme personality, he still established the Temple of Light to show the people of the realm that was more to the world than war and conflict. That kindness, comfort, and encouragement should also fill their lives. As such, he did not always resort to punishment and death while managing the affairs of the empire. As time passed, those who Argus had to punish increased in both evilness and strength. In order to face these opponents, it was necessary for him to become increasingly stronger himself. But even Argus was late to realize that he had become addicted to the rush of defeating strong enemies in battle. He had once acted purely to punish those who sinned, but now sought only his own strength and glory. It was in this way that Argus fell from grace. Argus' situation had long been watched by the Lord of the Abyss, who intentionally caused crimes that pushed Argus further into his corruption. He promised Argus to use dark power to increase, and in order to win himself such a strong servant, even baited Argus with knowledge of an ancient seal of power. Completely driven by his lust for power, Argus broke the ancient seal and released from within it the evil sword, the Mice. Argus fell completely under the Abyss Lord's control, acting as his most loyal servant. Legend states that the user of the sword, the Mice, will be drained of all life force until taken by death. Consumed by his desire for power, Argus sacrificed his life to the blade and coexists with it in dark equilibrium. He hungers for battle and chaos, thirsts for worthy opponents who can satisfy his taste for combat. He is an angel whose blade blackens souls. The angel of light, Raphaela, has never stopped searching for him. She knows that the corruption of an angel is far worse than the corruption of any man. In each of her attempts to heal the corruption and desire angered heart, she is inevitably attacked and chased away with the new Argus, a stranger to his former self. She cries tears of regret. Argus, however, holds nothing back in his attacks against Raphaela. The redemption of the angels of dark and light will influence the fate of the realm. Balmond, the Berserker. In the Land of Dawn, from the enchanted forest to the crack of the abyss, the blood demons use their noble bloodline and extreme intelligence to enslave the orcs, symbols of barbaric strength. The blood demons see the orcs only as their servants. In addition to searching for their own food, the enslaved orcs are also tasked with hunting for a very special food for their masters, moon elves. The orcs suffered greatly during their 30 years of enslavement, and their great ancestor, the crazed savage, hoped for an early end to their period of slavery. The orcs had organized rebellions against the blood demons' rule in the past, but each time they were met with death and destruction. It was during one of the larger of these rebellions that the rebel leader's wife lost her life, giving birth to Balmond. Balmond was raised by his father and their clan of orcs. The unusual circumstances of his childhood led him to grow up with a violent temper and a love of battle. He achieved victories in all of his battle against the Moon Elves and humans, and many became hopeful that he would continue in his father's legacy and command the Orcs' army. Growing further with each battle, Balmond became the strongest warrior in the Warctar. Years later, after his father had grown old and was near death, he told Balmond of his mother's tragic death. This caused Balmond to be even more determined to free his people from enslavement at the hands of the Blood Demons. Balmond led his war tribe in a night of assault against the Blood Demons' main camp. He hoped to defeat the Blood Demons' leader Alice and thereby break the contract of enslavement between them. The Blood Demons, however, proved to be much stronger than Balmond anticipated. In a moment of desperation, Balmond decided to bite one of the Blood Demons to suck their blood and acquire their special strength. The few orcs remained followed suit and grew stronger as the strength of the Blood Demons joined with their own. Now in a frenzy, Balmond swung his bloody axe and slaughtered all Blood Demons before him. Alice knew that he was no longer a normal orc, but a hybrid creature that would become known as a Blood Axe Orc. The corner of her mouth rose up in a smirk as Balmond approached, his axe raised in preparation. Even as it swung down, preparing to sever her head from her body, Alice showed no fear. The axe was stopped by a mysterious power just as it was about to meet Alice's skull. It was then that Balmond realized that by acquiring the power of the Blood Demons, he had once more become subjugated to Alice's control. Just as he was on the brink of liberating his people from slavery, his urgent need for freedom was again denied. Even today, these events still weigh heavy on Balmond's heart. He never intended to become an orc mutant, but is unable to escape Alice's control. The Blood Demons had gained a special force with the strength of two races, greatly increasing their power. Every time the Blood Demons summon him, he is forced to honor the contract that binds him. In between those times, he rests, unable to pursue his own course of action until the summons is heard and his blood axe reigns supreme. Bane, Lord of the Heptaseas. Many years ago, Captain Bane and his fleet were invincible, and even the fiercest of pirates knew him to be the one true ruler of the seven seas. Now he has awakened from the depths of the ocean, his body cursed and his black pearl in ruins, hell-bent on showing the world that he's still the overlord of the high seas. Granger, the Death Chanter. In the Land of Dawn, there's a peculiar legend about a mysterious musician. His name exudes a depth sense of artistry, and everybody knows him as Granger, the vagrant poet. Granger was left an orphan of war at a young age. Long ago, the Monian Emperor sent an expedition to the southern mountains, and a knight age from among their ranks rescued many orphans that had lost their families and homes to the war. They were then sent to be raised at the Monastery of Light. Granger was one of these orphans, but perhaps the most special of their kind. He was a reticent child, a longer who kept to himself. Granger preferred his own company, and his gaze was void of all emotion. But whenever the elegant melodies of violin playing resounding through the monastery, his eyes would light up to the song, striking a chord deep within him. As the children in the Monastery of Light came of age, They were presented with two options. The first, to become a demon hunter in the monastery service, completing bounties set by the empire, and the second one, to devote themselves to the monastery and be tasked with all of his daily chores. When the time came for Granger to make his choice, however, nobody could have imagined that he'd choose both, taking the gun and also the violin. While unexpected, it was widely understood that Granger had always held a deep-set resentment towards the war and demonkind, and moreover the importance he placed in the violin. Its graceful song brought peace to his soul like nothing else. Granger has always taken great joy in music. In a second, he can transform a beautiful violin piece in the thundering battle overture, losing himself in the thrill of rises and falls. Before long, he had become an outstanding demon hunter, regularly handing in the monastery's S-rank bounties well before their deadlines. He takes on each of his missions alone and has never been late nor met with failure. Granger's incredible abilities left even Alucard in awe. Rumors and legends of Granger are whispered among the world of demons. No matter what kind of demon you may be, you had better run when you hear the song of his violin, for it could be a death sonata he's composed just for you, after which you'll be faced with the last man you ever want to fight in battle. Before we continue with the stories, all I want to say is smash the like button so I can make more stories and more videos in the future. Hanzo, Akuma Ninja. Long ago, the members of the House of Akakage were hailed as the gods of ninja arts. For generations, the Akakages researched and taught advanced ninjutsu. In order to reach the pinnacle of ninja arts, the Akakages use a forbidden ninjutsu to rid their hearts of evil, anger, and greed by condensing them into a demon called Hanekage. No one expected that a Hanekage would have consciousness, despite lurking within their own bodies. When the legendary 100 ghosts attacked the house of Akakage, the demon within them merged with the ghost to become a single entity. Thus began a bloody feud between the Akakage and the powerful demon Hanekage. At the grave cost, the Akakage used the ninjutsu Blood Shadow to temporarily seal the demon. In order to permanently seal Hanekage, the Akakages use their sacred tools to create a legendary sword known as Ame no Habakiri. Not long after, the forefathers of the Akakage perished from the world. Their grieving disciples did aim Ame no Habakiri in an unknown place that only members of the Akakage family could reach. Little did the Akakage know that the cunning goddess of death Izanami observed these events and secretly inserted a part of her soul in one of their progeny to one day resurrect Hanekage. After many generations, the house of Akakage was divided in the Crimson Shadow factions. The Shadow faction gave birth to the stronger Akakage the clan has ever seen, Hanzo. As one would expect, Hanzo became the head of the Shadow faction. However, one day Hanzo's team discovered his secret. All these times, Hanzo secretly fused Hanekage's power with his own body, feeding the demons with the blood of his enemies. When confronted by the Akakage's Crimson faction, Hanzo killed them all in cold blood. Absorbing the blood of such powerful people, Hanekage regained consciousness once again. Hanekage told Hanzo that his noble clan hid the powerful Ame no Habakiri, as well as a sacred ninjutsu in the secret location only the Akakage could reach. The power-hungry Hanzo abused his blood right to acquire the forbidden ninjutsu and the fabled sword Ameno Habakiri. The remaining members of the Akakage furiously chased after the clan's traitor. Emboldened by the power of Hanakage, Hanzo used his own clan sword against them and tore the powerful enemy from their flesh. Desperate, the two Akakage factions came together once again to take on Hanzo as one. Heavily wounded, the final members of the noble house of Akakage could only watch Hanzo escape. Hanzo secretly took refuge to recover from his injuries. Night and day, Hanzo practiced the Akakage's forbidden ninjutsu with Ameno Habakiri. After a decade, Hanzo could not achieve the pinnacle of ninjutsu like his forefathers. Hanekage consumed the flesh and blood of fallen ninjas and transformed into the magical armor for Hanzo. Hanekage struck a deal with Hanzo. In exchange for feeding Hanekage more blood, the powerful demon will help Hanzo reach the pinnacle of ninjutsu. Possessing the ability to reach the pinnacle of ninjutsu and the Ameno Habakiri, Hanzo brought a bloodbath to the world. Helcurt, the Shadow Bringer. In the historical records of the Land of Dawn, there is said to be a mysterious race who sacrificed their soul to the ruler of the beast in exchange for great power. Their bodies were transformed using dark magic, granting them the ability to swallow light and travel through space in the blink of an eye, allowing them to surprise their enemies with deadly sneak attacks. What was most terrifying about them, however, was the concoction of natural poisons emitted from their tails. For those unfortunate enough to come in contact with this poison would soon be saying their last words. However, this is what caused the ultimate demise of the race. In the annals, the specifics of how these races were wiped out are not made clear, but it's certain that this terrifying race definitely woke upon the Land of Dawn. Since their extinction, humanity has progressed prosperously. However, the history books could not predict that one day these creatures would slowly creep out of the shadows once more. Karina, Shadow Blade. The ancestors of the Dark Elves were once noble Moon Elves, but the temptation of dark magic eventually subverted them, causing them to abandon their faith. The Moon Elves would turn their backs on the light, lost the blessing of the Moon God, and were gradually eroded from within by dark energy, their skin becoming ashen and devoid of light. The Dark Elves, who make a living providing assassination services to other races, are born assassins able to use dark energy with ease. Karina is one of the best among them, and her assassination tasks are always carried out to perfection. But as the Dark Elves sank deeper into the clutches of darkness, the most fanatical of them even sacrificed their own people to the demons of the Shadow Abyss in exchange for dark energy. As Karina watched this event transpire, she became filled with the anxiety and confusion. And then her beloved sister Selina was chosen as the next sacrifice. Karina then decided that she could no longer stand idly by. She would never allow the demons to hurt her sister. She fought off her own people with her twin shadow blades, but even Karina could not resist the siege of the Dark Elves. Beaten to the brink of death, Karina watched as her sister was taken away by the envoys of the Shadow Abyss. Powerless, she left her vision gradually blurring as her younger sister cries became more and more distant. Sorrow and despair filled Karina's heart. She prayed to all the gods she knew of, but with no avail. The Dark Elves raised their swords to end Karina's life. but were shocked to discover a dim blue glow radiating from the twin shadow blades in her hands. Although they had abandoned him for 1,000 years, the moon god still watched over the elves and granted Karina his blessing in her time of need. The dark elves could not believe what was happening before their eyes and then chose to flee. A soft and gentle power trickled down from Karina's twin blades and into her body, dissipating the dark energy within her and healing her wounds. Karina stood up and vowed to turn away from her dark past, enraged by the pain of losing her sister. From that day on, no demon would escape the retribution of her moon shadow blades. Lylia, the Little Witch. At the underground lab of the Magic Academy, warnings and danger signs are everywhere. This is a paradise for dark mages. Sudden explosions and acrid potions make the place a horrible haunted house. Few will come here and no one is willing to befriend the dark mages. The once brilliant dark mages are hard to find now, as their descendant Lylia was born with a quirky character and unparalleled magical creativity. According to the historical records of the Magic Academy, Lylia's parents were the highest authority among the dark mages and the pioneers in the creation of the academy. However, due to the particular destructive power of black magic, Lylia's parents were expelled from the Magic Academy a long time ago. Lylia grew up alone and was often misunderstood because of her identity as a dark mage. There were plenty of frills and spills in her life, and people called her Little Witch in a not so friendly way. Lylia desperately wanted to prove herself. She wanted to make friends and be recognized just like other mages. She then decided to offer help to her classmates. For example, she used black magic to produce a lightning rod and to help Eudora create a larger lightning strike. But in the end, her help got Eudora injured. She also tried to help Harley improve his Master of Magic and he used black magic on Harley's magic hat. Again, Harley was hurt. No matter how hard she tried, she simply couldn't get rid of the name. The mages in the Magic Academy still doubt of her as a trouble. Over time, Lylia came to accept the identity and behave like a real troublemaker. But her obsession with black magic never changed. She knew that black magic is all-powerful and capable of docking different spaces, connecting the real world to any time in the past or in the future. She wanted to become the greatest dark mage and meet her parents. Her wish drove her to fight on despite repeated setbacks. She's determined to find the most powerful black magic. Lylia tried to use black magic to crack the time gap, hoping to find the critical moment. But each attempt only brought meteorites or alien creatures from other worlds. Yet she was not discouraged. She kept adjusting her magic energy, hoping to figure out a workable plan. Lylia found some strange creatures from the rifts. Were gloom, a kind of void monsters that enjoy devouring magic. When Lylia practiced dark magic, glooms reproduced themselves so quickly that the lab was soon full to bursting. They were also very loyal to Lylia and followed every one of her instructions. For the first time, Lylia felt that she had many lovely friends. But she also realized that these creatures were getting greedier every day. This gave Lylia an idea. She opened the door of the underground lab and let the glooms out. They could now search for all kinds of magic energy themselves. Lylia looked at the disaster with a faint smile. It seemed that the greatest dark mage of the Magic Academy finally returned. Dear mages, are you ready to meet her? Moscov, the Spear of Quiescence. Moscov, shooting to fame during the Amu tournament, was already a battlemaster at his youth. He inherited the family's occult spear fighting skills, and as the next leader of the clan Wilsand, he was loved and respected by many. Watching Wilsand clan growing stronger day by day, the Khan of Thornwolf, which is the hegemony of Hiatala grassland, couldn't sit back any longer. One day, when the youngsters of Wildsand went out hunting, he slaughtered the entire clan with his own people. The whole land was scorched by blazing flames of war. Blood flowed like a stream, yet a slight war still remained on the bodies of died families and friends. Faced with this cruel vision, Moscov could not persuade himself to accept it. But even worse, Khan dispatched a formidable cavalry trying to hunt down Moscov's hunting party, which was the only survivors from the massacre. In a panic, some escaped and some wanted to surrender, and Moscov for the very first time lifted his spear and aimed at his own bodies. Suffering from the painful experience, Moscov became ruthless with a doubt of revenge haunting him constantly. However, the Khan was too strong to defeat. In order to obtain more power, Moscov chose to fall into the abyss of shadow and serve the Queen of Doom, becoming notorious as the Spear of Quiescence ever since. Selina, the Abyssal Witch. In the Southern Monian Empire, a bottomless abyss is carved into a barren landscape, as if an ancient demon used a terrifying blade to permanently scar the land of dawn. The local populace called this place the Shadow Abyss. Little does the world know, sealed away at the bottom of the Shadow Abyss lies the land of dawn's most terrifying demon, the Abyss Dominator. Over the many centuries, the seal of the Abyss has slowly faded, giving way to the hunting will of the Abyss. The demons tirelessly scheme of ways to strengthen their power over the darkness. Many misguided believers offer sacrifices to the Abyss, unknowingly feeding the demons for the dark energy in the purest form, always lurking in the darkness, waiting to devour their carcasses of sacrifices. One day, Selina, a young dark elf, was sacrificed by fanatic believers in exchange for dark energy. Elves being the demon's favorite sacrifice, Selina was mercilessly thrown into the abyss. The abyss demon filled Selina with desperation and pain which coursed through every vein of her young body. Just as Selina was about to be consumed by darkness, a miracle occurred. A mysterious wormwood light enveloped her and appeared to be battling with the abyssal darkness over control of her fragile body. When Selina woke, she found herself still lying in the abyss, but her skin now exuded a strange blue glow and her own lavender eyes were filled with a magic scarlet glow. The abyss demon resting within her. The demons frantically wondered what had and why this had transpired. The will of the abyss then spoke. This girl has loved deeply, and this love has protected her from being consumed by the darkness. The abyss and the moon god, two opposing forces, have reached a balance within her body. An ancient and deep voice echoed through the minds of the demons. Leave this girl to me. She will become the strongest warrior of the abyss. The demons obeyed the commands and left Selina as she was. When Selina stood before the demonic inhabitants of the abyss, with the abyssal demon at her side, she completely forgotten her past. Selina quickly discovered that she could manipulate the dark magic of the abyss. She could absorb the power of the abyss into her body to transform herself into a demoness, capable of tearing her enemies into shreds. The will of the abyss appointed her as its voice, giving Selina uncontested rule over the demons of the abyss. Even Alice, the proud queen of blood magic, felt unsettled when she laid eyes upon the young dark elf, not only because the abbess chose Selina, but also because Alice could sense a terrifying power lying within this seemingly cute and mischievous maiden named Selina. Thamuz, the Lord Lava. Deep within the mountains, darkness reigns over everything. The only light is the crimson lava that flows in the bottomless crevices. Since the beginning of the abyss reigns on the mainland, countless demons became loyal followers of the abyss. Fervent in their beliefs, the demons chant the will of the abyss in deep caverns. Only the strong deserve to rule. Guarding the abyss for millenniums, a tribe of fire demons nearly became the rulers of the abyss. Thamuz, the king of the fire demons, and his people made the abyss into a formidable power. He was an excellent warrior with fierce temper, unabashed to use cruel methods in achieving his goals. Possessing ungodly natural strength, Thamuz was appointed chief of the abyss, who led the abyss to conquer all of the underworld. To Thamuz, all of his opponents were worthless scum, unworthy of living in this world. In his eyes, only he was worthy to lead. Thamuz could not accept the blood demon Alice as his bloodline was not pure, thus unworthy to command and enter war. With the gates of the abyss about to open, legions of demons eagerly await Thamuz's return. However, once the king of fire demons return, he will burn away all the weak demons. Only the strong deserve to be a part of the abyssal army. Thamuz has been waiting for the day he leads the abyssal army across the land of dawn to let it be known, only the strong shall reign. Vexana, the spirit summoner. A long time ago, there was a small country with a kind and caring queen and king, held in high esteem by their subjects. Under the protection of the King of Light, they lived a peaceful life. But deep underground, the Dark Lord of the Abyss was plotting to invade their land. The Dark Lord sent the enchanting vampire Queen Alice to seduce the king. The king stopped attending the court and no longer cared for his once beloved queen or kingdom. The king's betrayal raised the queen's sanity in flames of jealousy, and in an attempt to win back her husband's heart, she made a deal with the Dark Lord to regain her youth and beauty. Every day in the kingdom, another young and beautiful maiden went missing, and a panic fell over the people. The country grew weaker with each passing day, and the sacrifices demanded by the queen's sorcery grew as well. Finally, the kingdom collapsed, with no more sacrifices to be found, and the devouring power of darkness suddenly caused the queen to become a wizened and frightening monstrosity. 1,000 years have passed, and this unknown kingdom has since disappeared in the winding river of history, leaving only the legend of the demon queen. Very few today connect this tale with the great and terrible necromancer Vexana in the Land of Dawn. After all, it happened so very long ago. So guys and girls, this was all for today. Don't forget to smash the like button and check out my other guides and also tips videos. Till next time, peace.